State that's in line for a mix of snow and ice today. Our own Reynolds Wolf is live in Baton Rouge where the countdown is on. And Reynolds, looking at the latest observation, Houston reporting some light freezing rain, New Orleans ice pellets. So what are you finding right now?
Right now, just a little bit of freezing rain at this point. We've had, the pavement has gone from basically being dry to being slick, and I do happen to wonder what is going on some of the overpasses. And if you've ever spent any time in Louisiana, you know very well that much of the freeway, interstate rather, on I-10, it's raised up. So when you have the moisture that lands on the interstate and you have the cold air above it, below it, on the sides, you're going to have some icing conditions. You see people still just racing right along the freeway. People have been advised that if they don't have to get on the interstate, you don't have to get on any of the back roads, by all means, just avoid doing it altogether. It's too dangerous. I got to tell you, conditions even worse to the north. On the Interstate 49 in both locations, it is a huge mess. I got to tell you also, though, a lot of things, though, are better than they could be. I tell you, if a lot of people were still busy in places like, say, Baton Rouge, you might have more problems with the roadways. The town is very quiet. Take a look at this video. This video shows you downtown. We have one square. We're up on the square. Of all things, you can see a giant plasma screen where they're showing, yes, the Weather Channel, where people were able to watch Wake Up with Al. They were able to see Mike Bettis and Maria earlier this morning.
Reporting for us from the Baton Rouge area. Let's check on the overall radar picture over the southeast, which does show a swath of light snow anywhere from Jackson, Mississippi, through the central parts of Alabama, right on into Atlanta. Yes, we have a few flakes flying in northern Georgia right now. And for that reason, the National Weather Service local offices have issued winter weather advisories, even winter storm warnings, where you see the darker blue here from southern Mississippi and Alabama through the panhandle of Florida, all the way to the coast of North Carolina and South Carolina. In fact, in the Carolinas today, that's where we'll find our storm tracker, Jim Cantori. And Jim, of course, as you mentioned earlier, usually when you go to Charleston, you're talking about some type of tropical system, but now it is winter season and we're kind of putting a cramp in the style, the city style, with the beautiful golf courses. Tell us more.
Yeah, I mean, Charleston's one of those kind of cities. Of course, it's one of the most visited cities in the country, and people come down here for golf and the food and the history of this beautiful city, not to deal with an ice and snowstorm. I want to bring in the Honorable Mayor Joe Riley to talk to me here. And Joe, this is ice and snow coming, and you seem ready for this, though.
Well, we're ready. We've got a great team. We prepare for our summer events that we don't want. Same team prepares for this. We're ready to help our citizens. The main thing is for our folks is precipitation arrives real soon we letting people out of City Hall, businesses are closing, and get home safely, stay off the bridges when they become icy, and we'll get through together.
Let's talk about the bridges. What is the decision who makes that decision to shut down the bridges?
Well, we do jointly with DOT. Our plan is to leave the bridges open. They're being salted, but we will be monitoring them, advise people to not be on the bridges unless it's an emergency. If we see approaches to bridges becoming too dangerous, then we shut them down. So we just watch what happens and make the call as needed.
All right, let's fast forward to tomorrow, a day where we'll probably be seeing some snow on the ground. Temperatures will probably stay below freezing. We're going to stay shut down, right?
We'll stay shut down. We have all of our crews pre-positioned and we're ready to help, but we want people to stay off the roads. If it's, the kids play in the snow, they'll have a good time. Just don't get in your car unless it's an emergency. We'll get through it if everybody is careful and takes care of themselves and each other. We're interested in the elderly. If you got somebody next door, that's infirmed or elderly, make sure you're looking out for them.
Too, which is what's showing up on the radar, Jim. That's an excellent point because, we're looking at places that really maybe a day or so ago weren't expecting a lot of snow and may get, more than an inch or two of snow in North Georgia, for example. So let's have a look at the radar and show you where the snow band is setting up right in here. That area shaded in blue. Overall, we've seen reports of generally 1 to 2 inches in this region so far, but it is still snowing in places moderately so, with visibilities in Birmingham about a half a mile in moderate snow in places just to the south between there and Montgomery. Montgomery, Alabaster, for example, reporting moderate snow as well. And that area of snow is going to continue in place for a few more hours and also expand northeastward into central North Carolina. Look at this as we time it out through this afternoon. Watch places like Charlotte, Raleigh, and Fayetteville. They will see quite a bit of snow this afternoon and evening, making the rush hour very difficult. Please travel now up in this region if you can. Rush hour 6, 7 o'clock could be very difficult with heavy snow coming down perhaps at times, and that snow will likely make it all the way to the Carolina coast, the North Carolina coast tomorrow morning. So overall, guys, look at how much snow we expect through tomorrow in North and South Carolina. 8 to 12 inches here. Raleigh is on the higher end of the 5 to 8 inch zone. So this is how much snow we're talking about. It is a lot, and a lot more they've seen in a long time. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, the most still to come. Thanks so much, Dr. Greg. Let's take a look now at the impacts from Winter Storm Leon in Texas.
In fact, its early stages, the storm brought ice to an area that just saw ice from the latest storm. Remember Kronos? This is video from Austin, where officials are reporting more than 80 crashes so far since 5 o'clock this morning.
Right now it's time for the winter weather update. Storm specialist Carl Parker is here. We're talking about Atlanta. Both of us are residents in Atlanta, and we know firsthand right now how bad it has been and how bad it still is. Local time, it's almost 10 o'clock at night.
It's still going on.
This has been going on since noon. Scenes like this. Interstates.
That's incredible.
Side roads. When we look at the Google Maps and you see the traffic, which they does a great job of showing the side roads.
Yeah.
And it's nasty.
You know,
it's still horrible.
And it's not like that everywhere. I mean, you see a lot of red there, but that's also showing you the speeds. So the speeds are going to be slower. So it's not that it's jammed everywhere right now, but it is jammed in spots and in very important spots like this major artery, which is 75.
And some of these people have not moved in hours. Or have gone maybe a half a mile, maybe 100 feet. I mean, this is... It's a big deal here.
And when you think about it, it really is dangerous. I mean, imagine for a moment if the only way to get to the hospital would be to go on one of these major routes, and it's just not moving at all. That's when it really becomes dangerous, you know, and that's something that's been going
Somebody
on
gave
for
birth
hours.
on Interstate 25 in Atlanta today.
It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And, you know, one of the things that I think has happened is that, you know, it was very mild yesterday, so the roads were warmer. So when the snow came down, it probably melted just a little bit, but then it was cold enough for that melted snow to quickly become ice. And so we had these ice-covered roads in short order, and there's this thick layer of ice now on all these roads, and it's going to be very cold tonight. 15, somewhere in there. So tomorrow morning, we're going to have the exact same problem on the roads. Certainly, they're going to try to treat a lot of these roads, but they're not going to be able to do it all. I mean, the thing about Atlanta, and it's understandable, is we don't have hundreds and hundreds of salt trucks and plows. It doesn't make sense to have that because the last time something like this happened was 3 years ago. So it's relatively infrequent. But when you have a problem like this, you just can't treat it all at once. So I think, you know, you really need to think about even so-called minor winter weather events as being a really big deal in a city where you don't have these huge fleets of trucks that are out there treating the roads, every road, long before it occurs.
And this is a situation we even suggested maybe a sick day today.
Yeah,
we talked about that last night.
We did talk about that last night, and you know, it's always kind of a tricky thing.
It is. It's certainly a tricky thing, and for government officials, school officials, to make the call to close because you're gonna end up with an egg on your face if nothing happens. It's a difficult decision, and you don't want it, but that would have saved. A lot of headaches.
If people had not gone to school today, that would have made a big difference because certainly when they let all the schools out, then all of those parents have to immediately get on the roads. All of this happened at once. Everybody at once tried to get on the roads at 1 o'clock, and from that point on, that was it. I mean, the die was cast at that point, and it's been, you know, terrible ever since. Slowly getting better tonight, but not a whole lot. Now, the one thing we can tell you is that on the radar, the snow has ended in Atlanta, but again, you've got the cold temperatures, so what is on the roads, for the most part, is going to be there again tomorrow. The good news is the temperatures will rise this week, and so everything's going to be gone by the end of the week, but tomorrow, 35 degrees, not a lot of melting going on, and another very difficult day on the roads in Atlanta.
It certainly is, and this storm does have widespread threats and impacts from we've seen in Texas to Louisiana. Now we're also keeping a close eye on the Carolinas, parts of Georgia. Let's go live now to Savannah, Georgia. That's where we find meteorologist Kate Parker standing by. Is that still just regular rain there for you, Kate?
Still just rain. No freezing precipitation here just yet, but I can tell you we're incredibly close. That temperature hovering right around or just above freezing. You can see that the rain is coming down a little more steadily right now, a little heavier than we've been throughout the day, and it's definitely one of those uncomfortable rains. It's not pleasant to be outside right now. The temperature, like I said, right above freezing, and we do have this rain coming down pretty hard, making it feel even colder outside. Most folks, though, more tucked in at home, got their fuzzy slippers on, watching us with a cup of hot cocoa. That's because a lot of people are off school and off work tomorrow. They're going to be able to sleep in and not be out on the roads. And that's key because we are anticipating this to turn into freezing rain. The timing of this does time out, changing into freezing precipitation after midnight, getting closer to 3 a.m., and then we could even see it transition into some sleet and some snow by sunrise tomorrow. So the kiddos will be happy to see some snowflakes. They'll be out of school to see it. If we do get any accumulation on branches, we could see some down power lines, and major power outages is going to be a big concern here. But the good news is that emergency management does have a command post set up. They have people in place to deploy if that does occur so that they can try and help people out, because there's no cure on the roads. I tell you what, they don't have any plows, they don't have any salt. The roads are going to be treacherous with any ice accumulation of any kind here in Savannah.
All right, Kate Parker, thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And we're live with you all night and right into tomorrow morning. Coming up next, hammering the South, turning things into a winter nightmare for some cities. I'm Chris Warren, and we are with you for this extended winter edition of Weather Center Live, because there is a major headache on the roads as this deep freeze reaches the deep south. Look at the areas impacted, either already impacted or going to be impacted by Winter Storm Leon. Almost 40 million people will experience some kind of winter weather from this winter storm. Winter Storm Leon, one form or another. Today already we have seen regular old rain. We've seen ice. We've also seen plenty of snow and sleet. That is what we have seen throughout the day. And it is still going on right now. We do have crews throughout the South keeping an eye on this. We have meteorologists in the field from Georgia to the Carolinas, where winter weather is paralyzing the region. Here's the latest right now on Winter Storm Leon. Georgia now the sixth state to declare a state of emergency. Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, North Carolina, and South Carolina are the others. Roads and airports, the biggest issues right now, especially those roads. As far as the flights go, thousands have been canceled. The cities of Atlanta and Birmingham are nearly gridlocked on the roads. Most schools in the South are closed tomorrow, and there are still kids stuck at school tonight after buses couldn't get through this mess. And right now, let's take a look at some of the video we have seen today. In this case, an ambulance here. Here it's slipping and sliding, and people out there doing what they can to help push it along. This is the way it has been across many cities in the South, in particular Atlanta, with so many people and so many roads getting hit so very hard. Our Dave Malkoff has the latest on this amazing southern snowstorm.
Hey there, you guys. Mainly a traffic problem here in Atlanta. These are the cars that are sitting in the parking lot, and look at how hard it is to get that off the windows. A lot of people here in the South don't necessarily have scrapers in their car, so they're going to have to be a little bit creative when they try to get that off of their car. These cars are moving just about as fast as the cars on the highway that we've seen. Take a look around Atlanta. You can see what happened today is complete gridlock.
And there's the current radar picture. A lot of stations now in South Carolina are reporting freezing rain. One of them, not very far away from Myrtle Beach, we actually got a report of 1/2 inch of ice accumulation. So once you get from 1/4 of an inch, which is mainly a traffic problem, to 1/2 inch, that's we are getting into that territory where trees are being weighted down by the weight of the ice, and we're starting to see power outages. And in fact, we have heard about power outages in the Charleston metro, and that it's probably only going to continue. Freezing rain ongoing here in southern parts of South Carolina. We have changed over to snow in Augusta as well as in Columbia, South Carolina.